Wake up, kick back, relax, take a break this morning. Ease your mind and your soul at the morning yawning. Get your mug, get your joke, get your tea, get a grip. Take a sip, you listen to the drip.
Let's go!
Hey guys, we're back with the drip. What up? What up? Why everybody quiet?
I know.
All of a sudden.
Oh my god!
And it was like
So
these
talkative.
death
I just
stares.
wanted,
Like,
I
what
just
are y'all
wanted to
doing?
see what was it.
I think we
you
just
know?
did
Huh?
moment of
Crickets.
silence.
You should have played crickets. Yeah. I mean, I'm thanks.
Be some clowns today.
So we have guest girlfriend in the show, Irene Day. We're glad to have you here.
Yes,
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So what do? I am the owner of Hannah Financial. We offer financial services, so tax prep, credit repair, business credit building, and here's, you ready for the bomb? I am officially an adjunct college professor at Cuyahoga Community College.
Great!
Starting spring 2020, I'll be teaching financial literacy
You just
as
made
an
us
actual
peak.
college professor. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's so dope.
I was trying to wait because I'm doing like a whole promo video of like my first day at work with my little suit. But no, I'm really excited. Especially because financial literacy is something that I'm extremely passionate about. So when I applied for it, and then I did my 2 interviews, and I'm like, they ain't gonna hire me, man. And then I got my offer letter last week, so I was like,
Nice.
Way to bring it,
Right.
girl.
Yes, do this. Do
It's
this.
a holiday celebration.
Nice.
so yeah.
That's what's up.
Just know, spring 2020, the price is going up.
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, but yeah.
Y'all better jump on it.
That's good.
So, yeah,
So,
that's
you
what I
know,
do.
the last show?
Yeah.
Money Matters.
Right.
You know, we've been talking money and building wealth and financial literacy. In your field, tell us what, if you could pick one area as far as credit is concerned where we struggle the most, what would it be?
I want to say mindset, especially in our community. We're so used to getting financial advice from people that for real really don't got nothing.
Right.
Like we got this. No, I'm serious. Like we
Yeah,
got
that's
this
the truth.
cash is king mindset, and it's like, who do we get that from? Our Uncle Benny,
Right.
who been living paycheck to paycheck his whole life,
Right.
And as I got further in my business, it really made me realize, like, the people that got money, like got cash money, they're not using their money to do nothing. Like Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're worth collectively over $1 billion. The $90 million mansion that they live in Malibu, they put $30 million down, use their credit to finance the rest. Like the people that are really wealthy in the world are literally using their credit to obtain assets to pay for their liabilities.
Right.
While we out here living paycheck to paycheck trying to pay cash for everything.
Want cash.
So definitely mindset. And we don't like to talk about money. Like we don't like to talk about
It's
credit.
emotional.
Right.
It is.
It's an emotional attachment.
I think my breaking point for me was when my grandpa died in 2014. So my credit was shot, like 400, low 400s, all 3 of my scores. He died. He left me some money. So I'm like, what's the first thing we want to do when we get some money?
All out.
We want to pay stuff off. Like we want to try to be responsible. Let me pay what I owe. So I literally paid off $30,000 worth of debt August of 2014. And my credit score went from a 410 to a 422. And that's when I was like,
Wow.
Say that again. 410.
Wow.
so 422, 12 whole points. And I was like, what?
Somebody lied.
So I was I had heard about credit repair and I was looking for help. Like, hey, I know somebody do credit repair, but everybody I was finding was like either doing it through an MLM service or I wasn't giving them that personal information. So that's really how I got started. And 2 years later, I ended up officially launching Hannah Financial, and it's just been on the up and up ever since. And Hannah Financial is the only Black-owned credit repair company licensed in the state of Ohio.
Yes, nice.
Because you have to have a license to legally do credit repair. So.
Hear that? To legally do credit.
Good stuff.
Legally.
Yeah.
So, do you see a disparity between the African American community and
Counterparts?
our counterparts?
Nope. Well, credit scoring wise, no.
Mm-hmm.
Financial literacy, yes.
Okay.
I think when I started, I'm like, all the black kids, we just got bad credit because they just didn't teach us about it, or because like we don't got the money to have the good credit. You don't have to have either. Like you don't have to be balling out of control to have good credit. Majority of my clientele, like less than 5% of my clientele, are actually Cleveland based.
Okay.
But the first like 30 Cleveland clients that I had were old white dudes making 6 and 7 figures a year. They couldn't get into houses, couldn't invest in their businesses the way that they wanted to, because we have the liquid assets, but we don't have the credit. And when it comes to these banks and these loans, they don't care what you got in the bank. They want to see how credit worthy are you.
Right.
So that was really eye opening to me, because I'm like, I thought it was just us. Like, you mean to tell me you driving this Mercedes and you paying $1,200 for it because your credit shot?
Yeah,
but
that's good to know.
Yeah, it's not just us.
Perception, it really is people's reality. Like you see people driving these nice cars and you thinking they got it together and they really don't.
They don't. You driving a nice car only means you have a car note to me. Yep. That's what that means.
And it's crazy because with good credit, it don't cost that much more to drive something nice. Like I had a 2012 Equinox. I was paying almost $600 a month for that car.
Wow.
I got a 2019 Mercedes GLE that I paid $702 for. Like,
okay.
So yeah.
So what happens when you apply for new credit? Like what?
A couple of things. So one, applying for new credit obviously adds a new inquiry to your credit report. And that's another thing. Like a lot of times I'll get new clients and they're gung ho, like, I got all these inquiries and it's killing my credit. That's not what's killing your credit. You can have 100 inquiries. You can have one inquiry. It's still going to be less than 10% of your credit score. What's killing your credit is the fact that you have no other credit in your credit profile.
Got you.
So we get a new inquiry, and if you get approved for whatever new line of credit that you apply for, that brings down your average age of credit.
Okay.
But like if you get new lines of credit, it shouldn't tank your score.
So what happens when you have like say something is closed and then they reopen it? Like, is there a time frame or something like that?
When you say reopen, is that like a collection account?
Pull your finger on my face.
God, hilarious. Hilarious.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Quiet.
So like say for instance you have like an outstanding bill and then it closes after so long.
You got to be specific with the bill type though.
Okay, say,
is it a collection account?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing with collection accounts. And this is why credit repair is the thing. So as a U.S. consumer, you have the right to have every single account that's reporting on your credit reports be reporting 100% accurately and 100% verifiable.
Okay.
Collection accounts are technically not lines of credit, so they should never report as open accounts on your credit report.
Got it.
And a lot of times they do.
Say that one more time for the people.
That's a gem right there.
Collection accounts are not lines of credit, so they should never report as open accounts on your credit report.
My goodness.
So when they
one
do,
more time.
Listen.
So we have to write this one down.
Yeah, what is
Y'all need to come to Hannah Financial so we can
Okay.
get
All
it.
right.
Cool.
That's good stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff. Oh my! Like this is knowledge.
Yeah. It's so crazy to like credit repair even has to be a thing.
Okay.
Because there's this gray window that does not hold banks and creditors accountable for misreporting information to your credit reports.
Okay.
And we don't know to even question that.
No.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll see stuff like, oh, I got this Capital One that got charged off. I know it's mine, so I know it's supposed to be on there. And it's like, no. Just because it's yours, like that's cool. That's not an issue. Sometimes it is. We'll have identity theft going on, but for the most part, like the stuff on our credit reports belongs to us. That's not the issue. The issue is, are all 47 account fields in this account reporting 100% correctly? Because if they're not, we need to get them removed.
Okay. So what? I just heard something in the air. I'm just going to say. So they said that the health collection things accounts that you have, they're not supposed to report because it's like part of HIPAA or something like that. Is that true?
No. So medical collections can legally be reported to your credit report.
Okay.
you can find HIPAA violations usually in collection accounts.
Okay.
And this is because these collection agencies are just dumb. So what a HIPAA violation technically is, once you start the credit repair process, if I send a debt validation letter, that's what we call it. That's usually first round debt validation to collection agencies. If they send me, they're supposed to send me like my original contract, like let me know who was the original person I owe the debt with. A lot of times these collection agencies will send me bill breakdown of my personal visit at the doctor. Like,
wow,
you know that I went to the doctor to get a tummy tuck.
Oh,
HIPAA violation,
right?
And I'm gonna sue you. That's a $1,500 like lawsuit off top.
Better write that down.
Can I sign up now? I need to sign up.
Listen, my quit day special, it's alive and well. Listen,
we have to get that info.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to do a commercial.
But I got a quick question. So I've heard people say, "Oh, I'll just file for bankruptcy."
Okay,
yes, let's
to
talk about
clear all that stuff out, and I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
What is your take on bankruptcy versus credit repair? Is it the same thing? Does it work the same?
Nope. Okay, so bankruptcy is you going through the bankruptcy process, and bankruptcy legally releases you of the financial obligation to these debts, right? So when you go through bankruptcy, the accounts that are included in bankruptcy now report on your credit report as included in bankruptcy, right? Okay. But they're still on your credit report. So credit repair finds reporting inaccuracies in those accounts, including in bankruptcy, to remove them from your reports. Removing items from your credit report does not remove your obligation to the debt, but bankruptcy does.
Gotcha.
So that's the
difference between
when you do bankruptcy, it's kind of asinine to do bankruptcy and not do credit repair. But just because you went through credit repair doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do bankruptcy, because they do two completely different things.
So do you recommend just go ahead and do bankruptcy, just like wipe it all out if you really, 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 really are bad?
I think it's case by case. Okay. A lot of times we can really afford our debts if we just buckle down. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, in some situations, some people really can't. So if you know, like, hey, I'm way over my head in debt, then bankruptcy will be an option for you. But a lot of times it's just, you need to get your shit together and pay what you owe.
Okay. I like her. Yeah, pretty much. So before we're going to take a break in a minute, but before we go, tell us, for people who don't know anything about credit, tell us what a credit score is.
So a credit score is basically a numerical assessment of how worthy you manage credit. So there's like 200 different credit scoring models, and they basically numerically calculate everything that's in your credit profile. And there's two major scoring systems. So there's the FICO scores, and then there's the Vantage scores, which is what Credit Karma uses. And a lot of times I'll hear people like, oh, well, Credit Karma isn't my real score. That's technically not true. Okay. So about 10% of banks and lenders currently in the United States use the Vantage scoring system, but FICO is still the predominant scoring system. And the mortgage industry is federally regulated. So if you are getting a mortgage, then FICO will always be the score that they use. Correct.
Okay. What's the average credit score?
It varies state to state. The average credit score in Ohio is 665.
Okay.
So FICO.
That's
665.
Decent, good.
It's decent.
Decent.
That's great.
Anything over 750. So anything over 750, you're gonna get prime rates for, and anything over 800 is just bragging rights.
Oh,
sweet.
Yeah,
that's where I'm going.
That's real good.
But
So when y'all see me, it won't
No,
it will
ask
not
your
be
question
hello.
and then we'll go.
So you mentioned FICO. What is Ultra? Or is it
Ultra FICO?
Yeah, what is
it's
that?
just another version of FICO. So with Vantage picking up steam the way that it does, because like 2 years ago, like the amount of banks that use Vantage was like less than 5%. So the fact that they're at 10% now in like a 2 year time span is a big deal. So the credit bureaus have basically been trying to find other ways to service people, because there's still like millions and millions of people who are underbanked or not being able to get finance for a lot of different things because they don't have credit scores. So with Ultra FICO, it basically gives people the opportunity to account for things that hasn't been traditionally included in their credit scores. Like none of the FICO models before FICO 9 actually use utility payment history. So your light bill,